This thing's important.
There you go.
Now I get to talk.
Absolutely nailed it.
Elimination finals times, folk, and maybe some people in Twitch chat heard what I said, maybe some people didn't. But all I do know is Quadrant have a big series on their hands because we're hoping there's no hangovers from the last series because Vuelta can be a tricky customer.
They certainly can indeed, and I think Quadrant are going to want to maybe put right what went wrong in that last series, because it felt like a series that they were never really in charge of at any point, right? And certainly some questions to be answered. And if you're Vuelta and you're looking at that series that you just saw on the main stage as well, you're going, well, we've given Navi some really good series over the years, and why can't we put ourselves into a grand finals as well, right? And it's going to be a best of 7 once again, so there's an opportunity for them to play a couple of Slayers, maybe if they can sneak a couple of objective game types, and the series can certainly become theirs. But for Quadrant, Aquarius CTF is going to be game number 1, and this is one that we have seen these two teams meet up on, if I'm not mistaken, in this tournament. But it did end up 5-1 in the favour of Quadrant, and it was a pretty convincing 5-1 as well. Yeah,
it was one of those games that started off as hot as a flash, and they got 3 flag captures in the space of 3 minutes, so Quadrant weren't playing any games, but it was Vuelta bounce back in the Slayer. I wonder if we'll see a very similar story play out here. With Vuelta, by no means are they going to be a pushover. And Quadrant have to keep their wits about them. I'm also very happy to see the coach for Vuelta is actually wearing a Quadrant jersey. And the mind game's already beginning.
Yeah, we were wondering if that's just he's a big fan of the team, if he wants to, see them do it well, or if he's like, hey, me, I'm going to be a team that beat you. Huh. Let's see if that's going to have an influence. If that does have an influence, well, that would be really weird. But anyway, let's talk about this game. Let's kind of put the focus onto Quadrant, I guess, because that's where the questions are going to be have to be answered in this game. And as we do get into the game, we're going to start off on the side of Lqgend, who immediately gets destroyed by about 10 grenades. So probably not the perfect start for him, but Sica's going to answer back at least with a kill of his own.
On their way then. Couple of kills go the way of Vuelta. 3 dead. Quantum Translocator scooped up as well, so an opportunity to put some aggression down on the opposing base. As they step in, TchiK will take a couple of shots. And as will Lqgend. They're going to play this one pretty easily, going to defend it pretty well, but as I say that, SLG and Lqgend will go down. That flag that was pulled and on the move looks as though it may not make any further ground forward.
Flag is going to be run back for now. It looks like this should be the first flag actually going onto the board. It's going to be Vuelta who get that first flag in. So Quadrant again, having just lost back-to-back games and lost the series in the winners bracket final, now find themselves down by 1 flag. So a little bit disappointing start for them, to say the least.
Numbers advantage then, favouring Quadrant, but only 1 player coming off the respawn. Septiq over towards Fridge, down to no shields, but Lqgend's quite happy to fight it the entire way with him having 0 shields as well. So now they're trying to lay siege to the base. They've got a flag pull. Phlux is back base, hoping to get a trade here, not able to do so, and 3 dead now for Vuelta as they continue to move forward. Hello, folks. We have a black screen, but we'll continue on talking anyway, because that seems to be our job. That's what we're paid for, to keep on waffling through all of the technical issues that we might have, but we might have missed a flag capture during all that madness.
1-1. Let's tell you that, right? 1-1 is going to be the score. Just a little adjustment on the audio on our side, so thank you for bearing with us just a second there as everything gets put where it should be and everything is sounding all linked up and juicy in the way that we want it to sound for you guys. So in Blackpool as well as at home. So interesting start to this game though, and Quadrant find themselves 2 dead though. About 10 minutes left in this game. And I think Vuelta have got to see this as an opportunity, this series, right? They've got to see it as an opportunity to strike Quadrant probably when they've been at their lowest for quite some time.
Well, they've already fared better than they did in the first time they met in this map mode combination because they're in the game. By this point, they were already 2.5 flags down, so doing a much better job of navigating the Quadrant push and the pressure. Managed to pull the flag and push it out to the front base, and Millsy tries to watch over it with a keen eye, but TchiK spots him out, gets the kill. And now, Quadrant can push forward once more.
Yeah, flag does get sent back home here, so now you're going to watch Quadrant trying to get aggressive. Phlux has a little double back there and gets a couple of really good shots in. It was almost as if that wasn't expected by the Quadrant side. Most should be taken down in a few seconds time as well. Lqgend does get that kill, and now you see Lqgend start to move in and do what he does best. Get that initial kill and then start cleaning up some damage, and Quadrant do have control of the base right now. There's still 2 players to eliminate in this situation. The longer that they stall Vuelta in that base, the more likely that their help is going to be coming. As you see now, all 4 players up, and this push is going to be stopped.
Lqgend gets his shields back, re-engages with Septiq, pops the shields of Phlux, but Phlux gets 2. All 4 dead for Quadrant. And now the script has been flipped because it's going to be Millsy. First one into the base as he slows down for just a touch, waiting for his teammates to get closer, not to influence the spawns, hoping maybe a couple will spawn back base. SLG then in big trouble, loses his shields, and Millsy pulls away, almost gets away with his life, but an opportunity to pull a flag here for Phlux.
It should be an opportunity to pull it. The question is, can Lqgend be in a position to stop it? Phlux is still alive in the base, but it's a 2v2 on the map, well, was momentarily. Sica's overextended on the P side with that heat wave, so now you're going to look at Sica and Lqgend, think about maybe combining together to get a counter cap of their own. Phlux has gone down, and a little bit of inefficiency coming in from Vuelta means that Quadrant sees the opportunity, they overextend, and what looked like all the pressure in the world on one side of the base now turns it into a counter cap coming in. It's 2-1 to Quadrant. A misplay from Vuelta, the opportunity taken by Quadrant to score.
And if you're Vuelta, you have to be asking questions. How did that just happen? We were in the ascendancy, in the driving seat, in the base, and a couple of plays from Lqgend just completely turns that on its head. Another kill for him, double and a killing spree. Phlux on the shroom stairs has the heat wave and does connect with those two shots and the melee to get the kill. So score 2-1 now. Quadrant just starting to grow in confidence in the game.
Lqgend 15 and 6 in this game as well. TchiK the man on our screen at the moment. Millsy does win that individual battle as well. And look at this, now all of a sudden Lqgend has to think about rotating away, trying to flush players out, and now he's going to have a 1v1 with Millsy. Millsy was weak in this situation, still comes out of it with that trade, and it was TchiK, excuse me, who was the player involved in that battle. Lqgend is still alive on the car 1 for now. He finally does get taken down, but real scrap around the mid-map, and this is a little bit different, I would say, pattern to play the last time these two teams matched up. Last time it was Quadrant constantly putting pressure on. They kind of owned the halfway line on the map. Every single time that a team fight was won by Vuelta, it was only to get up to sort of top middle on that halfway point, but it's a little bit more back and forth this time.
Has the win just slightly been taken out of the sails of Quadrant after that last series? Losing so convincingly. Down in numbers at the moment, and again Vuelta will come again. SLG and TchiK over towards the P side, trying to fight off their back foot, and Mose will get one, looking to get Sica as well, doing a little bit of damage on the way out and on the way down. Heat wave now for Sica, as he now looks and plots his way forward.
Again, the heat wave was kind of one of the keys to Sica getting into the base of the overextension for the counter cap a few moments ago, so you can see that Vuelta are trying to just hunt him down at the moment, and smartly Sica's putting himself in a position where not only can he get his shields back, but anyone that does challenge him, he's going to have that heat wave at a range that's going to do maximum damage. Now you're seeing that overextension again. He's going to be trying to block the fridge spawns, maybe trying to just wrap behind enemy lines, do a little bit of damage, and if damage is done, that is a signal for Sica to push. Sees the attention taken away, and now he does have that opportunity. There's the damage, there's the kill. The problem is, elsewhere, so many players fell on his team in consecutive moments that he became last alive, and everyone on Vuelta could focus.
Great listening from Septiq to spin around on a dime and get that kill as well. Hit some beautiful shots. Again, contractually obliged to say mouse and keyboard player. Mouse and keyboard player. Mose down to no shields in the front base. Using that thruster pack, but not enough to avoid the crosshairs of Lqgend, who finds the headshot regardless. Septiq playing a little bit of defense, forced back into his own base, and Phlux will get the kill over towards the fridge. This is very back and forth, and all the pressure the Quadrant are putting down, all the pressure that Vuelta are putting down, they're not really able to get anything going in terms of a flag capture at the moment.
Yeah, flag runs at a premium at the moment. Lqgend gets one kill onto Mose, which is going to be a defensive kill. Millsy, though, is going to trade it out. Now, this is an opportunity. He just gets the read onto Phlux for a few seconds. Septiq wins his individual battle. It's 3 dead here for Quadrant. This is the opportunity they need. Last play is going to be no shields. That's going to be SLG. Stuck at the moment in the closet, but with the kills being traded in and around the Quadrant base again, it's a matter of waiting for those respawners to come and join the party. And no one was there to trade out the kill with SLG, so now you can see him try and do more damage on P1, but he will fall when you've seen Quadrant having to play very, very slow.
Held up in their own base. Sica gets the opener. Mose is going to fall as well, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. Perfect for Quadrant. We're playing defense, but Septiq manages to get a kill, as is Millsy. 3 dead. Septiq has to play a 1v1 with SLG. SLG trying to slow him down, doing so successfully. Septiq forced to back away and just play his life. That's going to stop the flag from making any more progress. And again, SLG continues to fight this. Lqgend slides towards the back base, taking some shots, and eventually get the cleanup. But they're going to try and keep this flag alive.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. You know, there was an opportunity there. The damage that was done by Septiq on the flag was so impressive that you saw maybe we can make something of this coming in from Vuelta, but unfortunately, they maybe just tried to force it a little bit too quickly. There was an opportunity to trade out a few kills before. They started to continue that flag run, but in the meantime, you can see now that Quadrant have got the players out of the base. They have now re-established top middle control, and off the back of it are looking for that damage to push from. Fortunately for them, play did fall a moment ago, so they're waiting for a live situation, but also I think they're just saying, hey, Vuelta, we have a heat wave, we have complete map control. We've got the flag advantage here. We want you to make a play before we make ours.
Who's going to blink first? Going to be a trade. Looking at the stats line as 3 members of Quadrant go down, and this push looks as though it's not going to amount to much unless TchiK can win this 1v1 against Septiq. 3 shots go in, make it 4, shields pop, but looking at the stat line, Lqgend with 29 kills and still a lot of Halo left to be played in this game. He's been a turret as Millsy wins that 1v1.
Lqgend starting to win 1v1s is something we didn't see too much from in that previous series, but certainly starting to look a lot warmer now. Another 1v1 being won by him from the point of view of a Vuelta player, and now the opportunity arises to run this flag. Septiq and Phlux still in the death screen. Millsy and Mose, the last 2 players that need to be dealt with, but that kill from Mose might just slow things down for a second. Septiq gets another as well, so could be a dead flag in this situation based on where the next few kills land, but Septiq more than aware of positioning that's coming in from Sica, wins that fight again, and Vuelta starting to answer back in these individual battles.
Few players sacrifice themselves. It's going to be Millsy who takes a death but returns the flag. 4 dead, double kill, and a perfect one at that for TchiK. He's already behind enemy lines. Flag is pulled. 3 members of Vuelta have just spawned up. Mose will join them very quickly as Millsy's the first pick, and that's going to mean trouble for Vuelta. There's a lot of pressure that they have to withstand if they're going to get this flag back home.
Flag does get rallied back though, and you can see 2 dead already. That is going to be a 3rd cap going in here to Quadrant, and with 1 minute 50 or so left on the clock, that could be the game-winning flag for Quadrant. This looks like, again, a very efficient run from them. The kills all fell consecutively. The beautiful slide hit out the window from TchiK makes that run so simple on the car 1 side. They even took a moment to just get those shields back. Didn't have to do too much, and then teammate takes over the rest of the run as he's just there to protect car 1. So another traditional run, another very effective run coming in from Quadrant, and these are up 3-1 now.
Not a lot of time left. The impetus is on Vuelta to get things moving and do it quickly. Quadrant are going to make this a very difficult ask, though. It goes down. Septiq also. Lqgend winning that 1v1, sliding out. Damage has already been done. He was able to capitalize on it. Lqgend will also go down, but they're going to keep trading back and forth. That's only going to eat away at the clock.
Yeah, I mean, where the kills are happening is always important on the map, but when you're down by 2 flags and you find yourself dying on your side of the map, it becomes even more difficult even to think about formulating a comeback. But we have seen back-to-back flag caps be possible here on Aquarius. But the fact that there's only been 1 real, you would say, opportunity to cap a flag here for Vuelta that they took. They had a couple of kind of half chances, I would say. A double cap is looking extremely unlikely at this point.
They're closing this one out for Quadrant. Getting that 1-0 series lead and then looking towards the Slayer. They're moments away from it here.
For Vuelta, there's been some better signs than we saw in the first series. I mean, if you're looking for signs of improvement, last time it was 5-1, this time it's 3-1. For a long period of this game, we did see it tied up a 1-1, but it still looked like Quadrant just have the superior strategy. They're so much better at just getting into positions to assist each other. They know what the problem is going to be. Speaking of problems, SLG might have just had one, but the last laugh will go his way, as Quadrant will win the game 3-1, even though Septiq on mouse and keyboard, by the way, actually does get that ninja.
He did break his ankles, but SLG won the game. So what do you value more, a ninja or winning the game? I think for me it's going to be a ninja.
Yeah, injury as well. Who cares about winning?
But we got Slayer Recharge up next, but I think we could break down a little bit what we saw. I think you hit the nail on the head. You spoke about how the strategy just seemed to be favouring Quadrant, because you've seen Vuelta get themselves into positions where if Quadrant were in a similar one, they'd get a flag capture, at least get it halfway. Fortunately, Vuelta just didn't have it in the tank.
Yeah, I think that's a game type that Vuelta would have known that the underdog's in, right? Because of the fact that they've lost it before, and they lost it in a conclusive way against Quadrant. For Recharge Slayer, this is maybe a game type where you can take advantage, because this is obviously, we just saw Na'Vi take them apart on it. So if you're Vuelta, you're looking at it and going, hey, this is a map we can take away. This is a map that we need to take away in this series, because obviously we have Strongholds coming up next, which is Quadrant's bread and butter, which they win 95% of the time, and probably even higher than that when you look at the HCS stats throughout the season. So Vuelta, this is a must-win game if they want to have a real opportunity of winning this series, if they want to stay alive and move into potentially taking on Na'Vi in the grand final. But it's going to be a tough ask, and I'm sure that Quadrant won't go down in the same way they did against Na'Vi. I think they're going to show a little bit more fight than they did.
Well, they can point back to earlier in the tournament where they did win that Slayer. In that game 2, we don't have to talk about what happened afterwards, but what we can say is Vuelta did win game 2, so they can do that here. They push this series at least one game further, but Quadrant shown little signs of the hangover. Early in the game, they lost that flag capture and it was a bit of a wobble, but they have recovered here and have their eyes set on victory in game 2.
As we look at the fly-through, we will not have a sword on the map, thank goodness. Sword was on the map.
I do, yeah, but I almost blocked it out until I seen it there and you mentioned it.
Yeah, just remember it's a grab hammer. One intentional, one not so, but as we do start this game now, it's going to be Vuelta who are under pressure immediately, but answering back. 4-3 is the score, but it's going to be 4 dead now for Vuelta, so however fast that start was, immediately all players from Vuelta are going to be spawning over on the pipe side. So Quadrant have complete map control. The question is, did the camo get burnt or was it picked up by one of these players?
Camo must have been burned, as I believe the trades were 4 and 3 and the last surviving member didn't have it, so the information you would imagine would have been passed over if it was still a factor on the map. So with that in mind, Quadrant still hold a 1 kill lead. Oh, I tell a lie. There's the camouflage player. Of course, it's going to be TchiK. But it seems to be out now.
There's one thing you can rely on from this broadcast is that me and Jersey at some point will give you incorrect information, whether it be a 49-49, whether it be a player not having camo. You can rely on us to be unreliable.
3 kill advantage. I know that because the score is down at the bottom now.
We actually have the score now.
That makes my job somewhat easier. Mo's over towards glass. Backs away after getting a successful kill on the TchiK. We've seen this game ebb and flow. A lovely sticky grenade. Locks in 2 for Sica. It's going to mean the lead remains at 3. Phlux didn't even want to turn around to see where that fire was coming from. Shock rifle in the hands now of Lqgend. And we know how much damage he can do, how much carnage he can cause. Going to have to get a little bit tricky here and stay alive, but Sica's there in support and they're going to pave the way forward. Lqgend gets 1, almost locks onto the second. Millsy has to get away with his life.
I was about to say, you just get the feeling with the position that Lqgend is in right now that he's about to do something with his shock rifle. He just seems to have good angles. He seems to have got teammates in position that are, you know, giving him the opportunity to roam and find these angles. And TchiK cleaning up that kill means that Phlux will be down to no shields and almost taken down here once again by Lqgend, but everyone trapped on the long haul. This is the head glitch you want to have, right? This is where you want to be playing. Nobody's going to get that first shot advantage. Speaking of advantages, Lqgend can't give his team one at the moment as he just keeps narrowly missing these headshots.
Ever since you said Lqgend looks like he's going to do something with his shock rifle, he proceeded to do very little, so
On me.
that might be on you.
That's on me.
2 members down for Quadrant. Camouflage for SLG though. Got 2 members of Vuelta in front of him. Can he get 2? The answer is he gets 1.5, and Sica's there. He's going to get some cover fire to escape and keep his life. So 5 kills now the difference, and Vuelta just letting this game slip through their fingers a little bit.
One thing that you need to talk about is the stat line coming in from Sica at the moment. 9 and 2. Make that 10 and 2 now as he is starting to take this game over. 26-19 is the score, and this is the biggest lead we've seen for quite some time. It's a killing spree now for Sica as he's just hunting down players from Vuelta and playing off the damage that's being done by his teammates as well. It's such an important thing to do in Slayer, right? We always talk about deaths and kills, but if you get a kind of positive damage differential where you're doing damage and not taking it yourself, as a team, that's your opportunity to move, take space, and create chances, and that's exactly what Sica is doing so well at the moment.
Millsy will fall. The rest of his team are going to spawn up over towards long haul. Mo's down in blue pipes, so Septiq going to drop as well. This is what Quadrant do so well. They isolate the players. When they have damage and numbers advantages, they really capitalize on them and build the lead they have. So it's about trying to quell that, and maybe Millsy has helped that with that kill. As he plants his feet long haul and fires it towards blue, but nothing doing. Septiq decides to get rid of those grenades so they won't be a factor and they won't hinder his advances, but fortunately for him, he loses his shields anyway. He has information now. There's a player over towards Pizza, likely rotating towards pipes with 2 members now over towards blue, and it's going to be a full hit towards this one player, TchiK, who's in big trouble. A trade could be huge if he can get it. He doesn't get one, and numbers favouring Vuelta for now.
I mean, three-man push. You saw TchiK did a pretty good job to survive as long as he did initially. Mo's will win his fight. Legend now is going to be on the flank. Legend flies in. G slides past, but gets a little bit of a lamp on the head there as the sticky does land. Get that trade and keep the 10 kill advantage here. But Vuelta, you saw the decision being made, and I'm never against a team like making a full push like that, but it's plays like this could be a little bit concerning. When they get trapped, it allows Sica to move in, clean up easy doubles. You get that first kill away without doing damage. It just starts to stack up, and Moj is lucky to not fall in the next few seconds.
Mo was a pixel away from losing his life. Didn't get far though, as SLG was there to cut him off. His escape route was closed. Millsy top tower is also in trouble. Phlux going to be the latest victim of Sica. Double kill. We speak about damage being done on the map. None more so than Sica. 17 kills, 3 assists and 4 deaths. He's been absolutely clinical thus far.
Yeah, he's been so impressive in this game. He's been so impressive this year. A lot of talk, understandably, has been about Lqgend and what he's brought to the team and the impact that he's had on the global scale. Well, the player that kind of gets left out of that conversation sometimes is Sica, which I think has been just as instrumental as a player to the success of not just the team, but the likes of Lqgend, right? He's a very intelligent player. He knows how to get in and out of situations. He's always doing damage and playing for the win, playing for the objective, whatever it might be. He's so good at doing it. And by doing that, when it comes to Slayer games, he's showing that he can put the stats up as well, and Sica leads the way for Quadrant and puts them up 2-0 in the series.
And it was looking like there for a large portion of that Slayer, it was a matter of when and not if they were going to get that win. You could see it after they pulled away in the mid-game. They really started to put the foot in the gas. They started to pick up those power-ups, dictating the map, dictating the pace, and really just isolating players time and time again. And you talked about Sica, how good he was, but he even had the supporting cast. Lqgend picked up 13, SLG 10 respectfully. So they were all pivotal in what they did and go that they got from the game. But looking at on the horizon now, we've got Solitude, Strongholds, and with the way they're playing, it looks as though they're in the sort of form of the 4-0 and go back to the grand finals.
Yeah, you would imagine this is looking like that at the moment, just based on the game types we have in front of us, right? I mean, Solitude, Strongholds, we saw it earlier, as 250-0. It was not close. And Strongholds, Quadrant, we've told the tale as many times as you want us to at this point, and it is true, because it's one of the most dominant streaks we've ever seen in a game type, full stop, in Halo history. And when you see it in a series and you're down 2-0, you're like, really, can we just like have a flag or something like that? I mean, we've already had a flag, but you know what I mean? Can we have some different objective game type just to give us an opportunity to get back into this game? But we always say as well, you know, you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So it doesn't matter what the game type and the mode is, you've got to be able to challenge and really put up a fight against Quadrant here. And I think Vuelta, they're going to know that as much as anyone, but it is a very tough ask. It's almost as if, like, you know, the road's over there. However, the road is like, you have to be barefoot. And by the way, the road is hot coals. And by the way, it's like a 45-degree incline. So best of luck with that one.
I think it's important that you say that, because how in the past we've heard players saying, listen, that we would have got, if we had got a better series layout there, we would have maybe fared better against these teams.
That bugs me when people say that, by the way.
It is said.
Get our game types. It's like, we'll get better at the other game types.
That's what I'm going to say, is that with a best of 7, you don't really have that excuse, because you're going to play almost every game type, but if not most of them. And, you know, of course, maps are going to be different, but you have got to make sure that you're strong on almost every single game type. And unfortunately for Vuelta, there's a lot of gaps there, because they're maybe not a team as long as Quadrant are.
Yeah, 100%. That's understandable, right? They haven't been a team for as long as Quadrant. They don't have the experience that Quadrant do, but I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's one of the big challenges of being one of the best teams in the world on Halo Infinite. You know, it's such a huge map mode pool that it's so difficult to be good at everything. And it's like a testament to some of the best in the world, like your SSGs, Optics, Phases, right? Where they're so good at pretty much every single game type that if there's one that's weak, we can almost identify it immediately. It's like, oh, well, look at their win rate here. It's only 60% instead of 80% as they have on other ones. So, you know, it's a big challenge in the Halo Championship series with such a huge map pool and such a huge amount of modes that play so differently as well. And for Quadrant, this is the one that they love most, right? This is the one they've had the most success on. This is the one where the story was built around. And for Vuelta, maybe they have to start writing their own story now by upsetting the apple cart here, Richie. Maybe they'll win Strongholds. Who knows?
It's time to throw a spanner in the works. I think maybe you have to build upon, you spoke about already, it was 250-0 the last time these two teams played on this map. So maybe it's time to register a point and work from there.
A positive affirmation.
That's all we're looking for.
We will get a point.
We will get 1 point. Whatever happens from then on out, it doesn't really matter. And what's important in that, you talk about how Quadrant work on this all the time, starting strategies. They're going to be so important you get the better in the early engagements.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, The worry is that, you know, Quadrant know their strategy so well. Like you've mentioned, they're such a drill team, such an experienced team. And if you lose the opening off of this, it's not only a double cap, but you give away sniper rifle, right? You might give away access to power-ups, and before you know it, all of a sudden it's looking like triple cap, and you're stuck in blue, and you're going, okay, guess we're going to get killed 3 or 4 times before we get back on the map here. But Lqgend just been a nuisance behind this pillar. Does have to re-challenge at some point. It actually looks like Vuelta got the better of this opening rush, so where those strongholds are going to be converted is always a point of interest, of course. And it looks like B is going to be the move here for Vuelta. And they weren't so close to capping it. Look at the bottom of your screen. Problem is, they didn't cap it.
No point. No pois. TchiK down to no shields. Perhaps still an opportunity there. And I have to say, we're watching that gunfight play out between Millsy and Lqgend. He's so difficult. He's so annoying to play against. You watch him peek shoot, and you just can't land that final headshot. He milks 2-3 extra seconds, and that means the help can arrive.
Yeah, and then he re-challenges, he's getting shot in the back. He goes +1, and you're like,
yeah.
Playing against Legends.
Update though. Vuelta have got that 1 point and they're climbing, so
they're winning.
We're on the board. Sica down bottom middle will lose his life on silo. Millsy though, last man on the map for his team, as Moses just spawned up to offer some sort of cover fire and assistance. Lqgend down to no shields, and that's something that I'm seeing is Millsy is hitting quite a lot of shots, and that's impressive to see.
I mean, Millsy, I've always been impressed with his shots, but you know, it was a battle rifle before, and I felt like a single shot weapon would help a player like him being so accurate with those precision weapons. But I mean, SLG at the moment, he's marshalling the troops forward. Millsy is going to have to do something off of spawn now, because it's the triple cap that Quadrant have been looking for this entire game, and even more terrifying, SLG has a sniper rifle. The only difference is I'm not sure they're more than aware of where the spawns are coming in. They're a little bit split at the moment, and SLG, seeing those players jump in, now has an opportunity to jump onto some heads. TchiK is going to clean that damage up, and maybe SLG didn't need the awareness. He was waiting for those players to lift up, then he turns around and helps out the teammate.
And you can see with the information he had, he was predicting they were going to be blue, but he continues to rip shields and rip the life away from Vuelta. And this is what it's all about. When you get put in that blender, that triple cap, you lose and hemorrhage so many points so quickly. And it's time for Vuelta to decide, what's the plan of action? How do we stop this? As Lqgend has camouflage as well, and 3 go into the respawn screen once more. This is how quickly a game can get away from you.
Yeah, and if you're impressed with how well the SLG shooting, well, I warmed him up a few hours ago. That's why I mean, I really challenged him on every single kill. He knew it had to be 5 to take me down, and to be honest with you, a Quadrant Series win actually might have to put myself on that roster and say that I was a big part of it. But 135-3 is the score at the moment, and Septiq finally wins an individual battle himself. But look how quick the teamwork is, right? Again, it's synonymous of a good team. As soon as damage is done, even if that individual fight isn't won, a teammate responds to that communication and manages to get the kill themselves to make sure it's a trade.
And that's the frustrating thing. You look at, all right, I've just won a 1v1 against Lqgend. Oh, I'm dead anyway. It didn't really matter because somebody else has just shot me in the back. There's, like you say, so good at capitalizing on damage put down by teammates and not letting those free kills get away. This has been a clinic so far. They're trying to capture B now, or Vuelta. And they've managed to do so, but they're going to keep losing points, so they're going to need one more. Millsy's gotten a pick over towards C. But Sica's immediately put him in the grave, so they have got control of C, but B transfers and immediately they keep on scoring.
Yeah, I love this play actually from Sica, right? He sees that C is being captured. He waits for communication coming out that there's a play that he can walk into bottom middle with and clean up, and from there he's like, okay, you have C, I am in B, we are going to transfer scoring, you cannot challenge because you've just been involved in a fight, whereas I'm full shield. So it's just that internal, like I always talk about the internal timer, right? But it's that, but also the decision making to know that you don't have to desperate to where a stronghold is being capped to defend it all the time. Sometimes you can outplay and out-rotate your opponent, outthink your opponent to keep the team scoring.
Game management has been absolutely expert here from Quadrant as they continue to score. Vuelta, every single time they put so much resource into capturing one stronghold, Quadrant arrive on the scene and take it right back. They've got a kill, but again, it's going to be Sica this time with camouflage after Lqgend had the last. Sica's down bottom middle now, as was Septiq, but 2 kills go in their favor, and Vuelta are very quickly running out of time.
Yeah, they certainly are, and the kills aren't going their way either. When you've got a camo player roaming around, it's just a case of who do I want to shoot? He defends C, now he knows the push is going to be coming in on B. It has to be a desperate push, but in the meantime, you can see SLG was already causing a distraction over at A. This is going to be game. It's almost set a match, but there's still one more map to go for Quadrant to put themselves into the grand final. But that was, I mean, as we expected, right? It's almost folklore at this point that if you play them in strongholds, it's not just a case of can you win, it's like how badly you're going to lose.
Yeah, I think we spoke about the goal being scoring a point. They got 3, so I think they can look at that as a success on strongholds. So 250-3, the final score. And
I mean, it's crazy. Sorry to jump in here, Richie, but you look at those statistics, and you look at the side of Vuelta. It's like nothing's like unreasonable there. The game finishes so quickly, because Quadrant are just so good at cycling spawns. They're just so good at it that you look at it. It's like Vuelta probably thought, hey, we only played like for 5 minutes of Halo there, and we apparently we're on the receiving end of a 250-3 loss. Like we got absolutely hammered. It's like we didn't really have many pushes. Full stop.
They almost feel like they didn't get to play the game. I mean, you're in the respawn screen, they were trapped in bases, and I think it's so important that you mention that because it's not like one player went -15. You can look, oh, well, if I played my life differently a few times, so yeah, there's nobody to really point the finger at. Players went 4 and 7. It's not this massive disparity in terms of kills and deaths. It's just how efficient Quadrant are, and they keep you in the respawn screen.
Yeah, the strategy is just superb, and so many times we see them as like, oh, they've got outspawned. No, there's a snipe bullet into the body that's just going to slow everything down once again, and all of a sudden you've got someone else on the flank or pushing forward to capitalize on that damage, and it's what they're so good at. But now we do see a little bit of oddball to come up here on live fire, and Vuelta might be taking a little bit of heart from what we saw from Na'Vi again earlier, right? This was a game type that was taken away from Quadrant. It was streets, of course, but they've shown that if you can be scrappy, if you can be a little bit of a pain when it comes to controlling certain things on the map, then you can put Quadrant under pressure, and they're going to have to now. Otherwise, this is going to be Quadrant marching back to that grand final.
Quadrant 1 game away then from completing the clean sweep. Vuelta have a difficult task now, keeping their tournament life alive. Lqgend gets a kill on the Phlux. TchiK elsewhere with the heat wave. They're starting to scoop up power weapons. That's a scary thing to see. 3 dead. Moze gets 1. Overshield's just popped up, and Moze again trying to influence the overshield. It's been scooped up and popped. It's been utilized. Power weapons, power ups. They've got all the things that they need.
Overshield's going to be able to fly forward and just capitalize on damage or deal damage. You can see that those players, it's a really smart play again from Sica, right? He sees 2 players in front of him. He's like, hey, I could walk forward and challenge them. I might take damage, but instead I'm just going to leave him there for a few moments until my teammate gets his shields back. Millsy does have a body shot onto Lqgend, which is going to be important because now Lqgend is out of the fight and there's an opportunity to push on the green side. But this is Lqgend we're talking about. He wins fights he shouldn't win, and that is another prime example of it.
That's the crazy thing about Halo. You look at the players on Vuelta. Moze, he's been a European champion. Phlux has been in the scene for a very long time. But Septiq, such a good Halo player. But there's somehow another level, another gear. You play against the likes of Quadrant with Lqgend. These boys, they don't miss shots. And they don't do it significantly enough to give you an opportunity. You have to be on your A game at all times. A double kill for Lqgend, and it was as easy as you like, and now he has a sniper rifle.
I just wanted to shout when they were there for a second, just to give us an opportunity to see if we could make a triple happen. Instead, it's going to be the unofficial one. It's 3 in a row. Oh my goodness, imagine if it was a triple and he started hitting shots here. That could have been all sorts of potential, but unfortunately it's unfulfilled potential, which something that Lqgend certainly isn't too fond of hearing. He usually is the player who is fulfilling all the potential in the world.
Overshield up imminently. Phlux is giving it up, recognizing that perhaps it wasn't on the cards for him. Ball was played. 2 members of his team have fallen, both at the hands of one man, Sica. He's trying to play this a little bit sneaky, and he's done so successfully. He's caught Lqgend down to no shields, but unfortunately being pressurized by Sica, who's put in yet another kill. He's had a very good series so far, and we would love to tie a bow on this one and get straight back to grand finals.
Another overshield here goes to Quadrant as well. That's 2 in a row for them. Makes the job so much more easy for them to keep the pressure off of that oddball. That's being held by a teammate. Phlux, his attention's taken away, but he turns it back just in time. As it's going to be SLG now left on his own. You imagine a play ball will be coming in the next few seconds, and that's exactly what will happen. SLG does get a kill onto Moze as well around the tower. And now you can see by getting that 1 kill when there was 2 players trying to push him, it causes all sorts of confusion on the side of Vuelta. It's like, oh, I expected you guys to be able to clean that up and me to rotate that ball back to tower, but now it's allowed Quadrant back onto the map. The oddball is down bottom middle, and hey, look at that, it's 3 dead. And how important 1 kill can be in that butterfly effect, you're seeing it right now.
And it's like you talk about, by SLG getting that 1 kill, all of a sudden the ball carrier doesn't have a route, an avenue to explore, he can't get out, and all 4 members of Vuelta have all fallen in bottom middle around the ball because of 1 kill.
80 points already on the board here, and Bakery might be open in a few moments' time because there's donuts available if Vuelta cannot get anywhere near that oddball. Millsy's last alive, and he's down to one shot as well. Overshield coming up in 25 seconds, and with the kills all falling in the way of Quadrant, you imagine that maybe there's not even going to be time for one more push to come in before the game will be won. Septiq taking down a no shields, has his head removed as well by Lqgend. Phlux is trying to fly in. The ball is down, and TchiK is going to pick it up. Millsy's last alive, and hey, look at that. Don't even need an overshield. It's going to be Quadrant who close out round number 1.
Quadrant then 1 round away from grand finals, and another crack at the pesky arch rivals in Navi. No doubt they're looking on. They're warming up, and they're ready to go again. And typically in European fashion, we've seen quite a lot of bracket resets between these two, so I wouldn't expect to see quite a lot. I wouldn't expect to see a lot more Halo to be played, as I could finally stumble to the point I was trying to make. But 3 dead, go Vuelta, and players are getting a little bit loud on the stage now.
Septiq under pressure, and indeed it's going to be the pressure that causes them to wilt in that situation, almost an unwinnable situation. The odd ball is now in the hands of Quadrant. Once again, look at TchiK already moving up. The Shroud Screen goes out. They get that next overshield. It's another overshield going to Quadrant, and this is looking like a little bit of an outclassing job. Quadrant have found their form that was missing in that previous series, and they are looking scary, and they are looking dangerous once more.
4 players in the respawn screen is something we have seen far too much in this series for Vuelta as far as they're concerned. They've just been made to look distinctly average by a team that, let's pull no punches, they're a special team. A history-making team in the Quadrant. And perhaps a little bit miffed that they found themselves in the elimination final to begin with. They would have liked to have been far more comfortable, but Navi made sure they were going to upset them and throw a spanner in the works here on Championship Sunday. 37 points and climbing, and again, Quadrant continue to score. It's almost at the point now where Vuelta just don't believe they can win this game.
Vuelta needs some energy here. Like, this is potentially the end of the tournament for them if they don't step their game up. They didn't get a single point on the board in that previous game. Someone needs to start putting the energy in. They start to, making a little bit of noise on the main stage. It's understandably difficult to do, but a double kill like that from Septiq might be the opportunity now, but the ball gets played. It feels like every time an opportunity arises, the rest of Quadrant are just half a step ahead of them. That ball gets played. Now they fight for it again. Even 1 point on the board would be good for them at this moment in the game.
They're about to get less time on the board. An oddball, and they did strongholds if not too careful. Overshield's about to pop up, and that's why Septiq has completely ignored the ball. It's the right decision. Moses picked it up by the looks of things, and that's going to mean more ball time for them, and perhaps an avenue to get forward. As they've got tower control, and spawns should be happening over towards green and indeed garage.
They got that point. They got the all-important point. Now they have the opportunity to put pressure onto Quadrant. For the first time, Quadrant don't get to play the game with an overshielded player on their team. It's going to be in the hands of Mose. Mose already pushing forward and doing damage, but 11 points, 12 points and rising. It's SLG who breaks through on the other side of the map. Moses overextended, in my opinion, just a little bit too much away from his ball carrier. And now, even if he can pick up a few kills here, he still gets repulsed back and can't do too much. It's going to be an easy break here for Quadrant. It's far too simple, and they don't even get the play ball in this situation. Lqgend comes through, picks the ball up, and says, hey, I'll scrap a bit of ball time before I play the ball myself.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes were forced. And they're going to opt to play the ball instead. That's going to mean Phlux and Septiq are going to pick it up and try and whisk it away through the cover of darkness. The Shroud Screen is going to skew the line of sight. Sniper rifles on the map. Sica is going to pick it up. Maybe try and hit a few highlight clips before they put Vuelta to the sword. 49 seconds required now for Quadrant to close out this series.
The Sica will fall, which means at least the sniper rifle, would have turned into the hands of Vuelta, but there's another solo push coming in, right? And look at, you can just see the timing on these pushes. It's almost nonchalant, that stick coming in from Lqgend as well. He's just standing there saying, hey, I know you're going to get the one-shot call out as soon as you jump up. It's an easy stick for me. And that's just game knowledge. That's also some more game knowledge, this time coming in from Sica, who comes back for the sniper rifle he lost a few moments ago and starts to hit some bodies.
You have to ask just how big are Moses' feet. That shot got the kill. Might have even been Phlux, excuse me, but either way, someone's got some big boots to fill here because they are running out of time, running out of pushes, and Phlux again down to no shields. Overshield's going to pop up again, and they're going to need a lot more than that to get themselves back into this game. They need to try and stop this ball carrier. Only 25 seconds remaining. Septiq! It's blown out of his boots. Mo's spawning over towards green. Is it too little, too late? The kills are going down. 3 dead for Vuelta.
think the Sica not only doing the oddball work, but also picking up kills, giving information to teammates is what you want. If everyone is Sica, you win a few games if you have 4 Seekers on your team. But SLG now, he's going to be on the flank. Phlux will take a lot of damage. It's SLG who picks up 2 kills as Lqgend flies forward. He's looking for more himself. That's 3 fights that Lqgend has influenced on this flank. The timing is going to be perfect. The oddball has been reset as Lqgend looks for these final kills, but hey, SLG is winning it. SLG is winning those fights, and this is going to be the final moments of the series.
Game counting down. Nobody seems to be on hand. And Quadrant complete the clean sweep. They're going back to grand finals to face off against Navi.
Quadrant on the revenge tour, it would seem. It's an opportunity for them to go back into that grand finals and re-challenge Navi. Of course, they're going to have to beat them twice if they do want to call themselves champions here at the Europa Halo event here in Blackpool. But I also want to give a shout out to Vuelta, right? It's a top 3 finish for them. It's probably what they would have expected coming into the event as well, but I think there's still some work to do. You can see that gap certainly is apparent for everyone between the likes of Navi, Quadrant, and the team that we just saw on our stage. Unfortunately, fall out of the competition. But hey, it means we get what we expected, right? It's going to be Navi versus Quadrant in our grand final. But we also get the opportunity with the surprise element of Navi being in there from the winner side, that anything can still happen. Quadrant, if they want to win this event, they've got to beat Navi twice. They have to go down the hard road. And I'll tell you what, the final's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Quadrant were dragged into deep water against Navi, and they have to go again, get the better of their old rivals in 2 best of 7. So a lot of Halo could still be on the cards here unless Navi can get it done in 1. That's all from Mark and I, though.
I was going to say, yeah, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure to cast with you this event, and thank you again for Europa Halo for having us out. It's been an absolute pleasure. And our sponsors on the sponsor wall behind us, but it's been an absolute pleasure to see everyone in the room, our whole community coming out and supporting and getting the opportunity to play some Halo in a live event. So shout out to everyone who sat in the seats in the front. Shout out to Europa Halo, everybody, and shout out to Sketch and Tudor who are going to take us through the grand finals as well. It's going to be a magical moment. Quadrant and Navi are going to be waiting to see who's going to be champ.
Looking forward to it. That's up next. Don't go anywhere. We've got grand finals, baby.